So next up, we're going to be checking out nvRanger and Co's There's Something Wrong with Cyberpunk's News Part 2. I don't quite know what we're getting into here, although I have a sneaking suspicion because of my own admittedly obsession-based everything with Cyberpunk. I've been deep diving this way more than I have any right to, considering I haven't even beaten the game yet. No reason. I still want to. Love the game. Suck at it, but still love the game. So yeah, we'll see where this goes, and it's probably going to be something an AI did it, and it's horrible and you're making it worse. Do I know that for a fact? I mean, it's Cyberpunk in general, so the answer is probably yes regardless. Let's go. And it's muted.
Futuristic world, and people are worried about base survival elements like food and water, whether they're drinking it or drowning in it. These next
Oh yeah, that's an actual traditional pod. I just recognized that. I've seen those before in stores. Huh.
two clips make a lot more sense in that context.
The homeless population in Night City has risen by 300%. The NCPD has announced that it will soon launch a sweeping catch and release program to relocate the vagrants outside city limits.
And if you know anything about Night City, as bad as it is inside the city, outside, unless you're one of the, not the gangers, but like, I forgot the entire faction. Corpo, Street Kid, not an outlaw, but essentially outlaws. Can't remember the name. But yeah, you're basically just dead.
Police are asking any willing volunteers
it's a barren, desolate, dead wasteland.
To report to their local NCPD station. In exchange, the police are offering the chance of a criminal record reset to those who actively participate.
Hear that sneaky bit in the end? If you turn yourself in to be deported from Night City, they will wipe your criminal record. But if they deport you from Night City, you're not their problem anymore.
Which they're okay with either way. Also, the immediate catch-22 is steal a bunch of stuff. I was going to say stuff. Why did I say stuff? Weird. And then just go to the police because now they're getting rid of you, not their problem anymore. Ooh, also, Andre, you cannot wait for the Eldritch Horns for fear and hunger. Yeah.
If these people end up in another city, even if they're murderers or worse, no one will know. This deal doesn't seem...
I mean, also, they're coming from Night City. That doesn't say much.
...seem to apply to those living in Watson's sewers, though.
And now, an important message for Watson residents. The homelessness problem plaguing the district's sewer system will be addressed as fumigation of the tunnels begins tomorrow. Due to the use of potent neurotoxins, Watson residents are urged to stay clear of storm drains and sewer entrances to...
So they're literally just chemical warfaring it. Good to know. Also, better than the city in Limbus? Nomads. It's the Nomads, Terran. Martin, thanks. Night City can be better than the city in Limbus Company. Sometimes. Other times, it fits right in really well.
Minimize risk of injury and death.
They're treating people like an infestation. Rodents, fumigate them out. It's more than that, though. Not just the homeless, but also the average person breathing the nearby air, the impact on the local water sources if it wasn't bad enough, and exposing the public to a mass killing very candidly. The darkest part is the people in the sewer are the least likely to see the broadcast. They'll have no idea it's coming. I'm sure all of this joyful news makes you want a friend to share it with. How about man's best friend?
Today's final story is an unwelcome one for pet owners.
What?
The canine ownership tax will increase to €1,000 per dog per month. Similarly, the fine for possessing an undocumented animal will increase to €40,000.
Kind of strange.
God damn, that's higher than I thought. I mean, I knew there was a huge market for this because that's how the game starts, but...
We don't even see rich people with dogs in Night City. Unless you have a whole lot of main character energy to spare, you can't even get a cat. But at least we have rats.
NCARD representatives have said to expect ongoing delays on the M2 Metro line. Arroyo Station was evacuated after its early warning system detected a massive population of rats dwelling in one of the tunnels.
They have an early warning system for rats. Oh God, they have Skaven. You know, this is going to be something that might be controversial. Skaven would improve Night City. I know what I said. They're better organized. And they backstab less. I don't even think I'm joking about this. Like, I legitimately believe right now the Skaven are probably less fractious, more united, and better organized than Night City. That's the thing. Also, Duck. Ooh, spaceship modeling and same. Oh, wait. There's modeling for spaceships in Look Outside Part 2? Oh, it's the option. Honestly, I'd like both. Oh, God. Look Outside Part 2 would probably scare me to hell. Spaceship modeling sounds awesome.
Control was immediately called to exterminate the infestation, but the NC Transport Authority has announced the station will remain closed until further notice.
So literally the reason you don't have any rat killing quests in Night City is because they're too dangerous. Good to know.
Okay, this is actually kind of interesting. Stick with me. I was curious if we could find a station closed in Arroyo. There isn't really, but the line does leave the Woolison station and split into a dead end for the rail, which happens to get you close to Mega Building H4. Mega Building H4 is closed due to a plague. What's even more interesting is...
Oh, they actually have a biohazard one. Considering most of Night City counts as a biohazard already, what does it take to get knocked out?
That this mega building was home to a gang known as the Rat Kings. We don't know for sure, but did the Rat Kings summon up a swarm of rats through the metro tunnels in their mega building? Animals are often the cause of plagues in this universe.
In science news, Biotechnica researchers have announced another breakthrough in genetics, the restoration of 3 previously extinct animal species: the North American beaver, the swift fox, and the eastern cottontail.
And they're extinct. Of course they were already extinct. Yeah. Also, Magnetar, compare Gotham with Night City. Gotham's safer. I know what I said. And I don't mean with Batman there. I mean just in general. Yeah. And again, I give Biotechnica a lot of flack because they've done some absolutely horrible shit. Like, catastrophically evil. But they're one of the only companies that actually still has good aims they occasionally work towards. So that makes them, by far, the nicest company. I'm not saying they're good, because it's such a low bar that they're not tunneling deep enough to get under it yet. They're really close, though.
Oh, back from the dead, these species will not be reintroduced to their natural habitats for fear of an increased risk of zoonotic disease, similar to the Great Bird Flu of 2061 and the Rat Fever of 2072.
I'd like to point out, this game came out well before 2020.
For the time being, the animals will only be grown on special order.
Yeah, Rat Fever of 2072. I think we may have figured out what was going on in this mega building. Makes you wonder what it's like in there now. Were the bodies left inside and now this mega building is just a giant rat nest? We can hear this sentiment again.
It would be kind of funny if they ever... Oh, solar panels on the roof. Weird detail, considering I don't think you could ever actually get up here. Cool that they have it, though. It would be fascinating if they ever got around to the 3rd DLC, or I guess 2nd DLC, but it came out to be both AI takeover versus the biological warfare. It's like, hey, pick your poison, and we do mean poison.
All the way in Australia.
Australia says farewell to the last koala living in the wild.
Okay, while I say that's horrible, I think I've met enough Aussies that they would have a very different phrase for that.
Affectionately dubbed Omega, though technically a wild animal living on...
Alpha is the beginning, Omega is the end. Yeah, they literally nicknamed the last one the last one.
On the outskirts of Sydney, the city government supported the fluffy marsupial with 11 pounds of eucalyptus leaves and fresh water from the municipal botanical garden every day. Omega garnered huge media attention a few years ago when Sydney residents organized a protest in response to the planned euthanasia by Blue Mountain Disease Control of nature's last surviving real-life teddy bear.
I know the rest of this video has been really peachy, and I'm sorry to slip in this sudden Debbie.
That was the peachy part? Oh, God. Oh, yeah. And that's a zombie koala? No, it's the healthiest koala alive. Both are technically true.
downer with the story of Earth's last
Drop
koala. They named the koala Omega, as in Alpha and Omega,
Yep.
the beginning and the end, given this koala is the end of koalas.
Although Biotechnica does exist, so they probably have the DNA for it. They just haven't brought it back because money. I said they're the best company, not that they're good. Very big difference.
If you look hard enough, you can see the spirit of Steve Irwin looking at you through this koala's eyes, asking, "What have you done?" While it's got
This is the Cyberpunk universe. The answer is too much. Stop asking. If you get answers, you're going to wish you didn't.
multiple wounds, trash wrapped around it, and instead of a tree, it's on metal infrastructure. It's probably wondering where the wires go. You think?
Also, considering, isn't it koalas that are the ones who literally can only eat eucalyptus? I'm pretty sure they're the species who explicitly evolved a very particular diet that only includes that one specific plant, and they just don't eat anything else. Although I could be mistaken, because that's just general hearsay for all I know.
Think he's wondering that? He's a curious fella. Crikey, where them wires go? I understand if you're feeling...
Also, Dex Tex, capitalism, the root of all evil. And while that is a lot of what Cyberpunk is, a lot of it isn't even capitalism that makes it evil, because there's a lot of evil in Cyberpunk that is capitalism based. But there's so much more that's just general greed beyond money, of just wanting to fuck people over or wanting to strike back at people fucking things over, but then doing worse yourself. Like, Cyberpunk is a universe where the only maxims that hold true are you die a hero before you realize you're not the hero.
kind of frustrated right now. You know, they're killing all the animals. You got crappy food and water. You're not even allowed to have your own pet without paying out the ass for it. But don't worry, I have a solution for you. Take it away, Iqbal.
That's a
Ever
cat?
dream
Oh,
of
God.
being a head of state? Now may be your chance. Luxury real estate firm No Limits at All has announced another 15 artificial island available.
Okay, this is actually kind of funny because this was made quite a while ago when the artificial reefs, I think off the UAE, were very much the hot topic. Since then, they are horrible. As in, there's no water flow because things get stuck between them. So they're basically the same problem Venice has of sewers. They smell, they're empty, they're dissolving into the water around them. So they're also unstable because they were just dredged up. So they're constantly requiring maintenance for something that's empty and just attracts debris and is completely and utterly useless. They are a giant failure. This was made before that was known, so it sounds like the ultra-capitalistic paradise. Except they're just giant piles of waste.
Available for sale now. Each island spans at least 3 square miles and possesses a foundation built to withstand an 8 on the Richter scale. Because
They did not. They don't. They don't survive nothing on the Richter scale. They're literally self-destructing.
they are located in international waters, island owners fall under no nation.
Also, Sturg, you mentioned the eucalyptus is also toxic and they're constantly high. That does explain them. Yeah, they only eat eucalyptus and they can barely digest it at all. Oh god, so basically they're just drug addict bears. Huh, they're the original cocaine bear.
Jurisdiction and are free to establish and enforce local law and custom. For more information on your future slice of paradise, visit the address below.
See, I'm a problem solver. You know, you don't want to pay that ridiculous pet tax. Just go buy your own private island and you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
There's only one small, and really, it's like tiny. It's a very little issue with going to live on your own island out in the middle of the ocean right now. Really, it's small. Just
In the world
Is the world's ocean just dying? Probably just giant dead zones as well.
of shipping, many ask, when will our oceans be open to us again? In the wake of the Red Decade, key shipping channels remain littered with undetonated explosives, and rogue autonomous submarines continue to attack freight vessels on the open seas.
This I actually have heard about, which oddly enough might be the best thing that could happen to the oceans, because if people aren't allowed to use them, they're fucking it up less. And I don't mean like, we're not allowed to use them, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more. And they're probably just dumping all their shit in there. But not being allowed to fuck it up to the same extent as they do everything else is probably giving a lot of breathing room. I'm sure there's some other way to fuck it up, though. As long as the AI subs just go after other AI subs or people, as opposed to everything else.
With shipping restricted to ground and air, transport costs have ballooned by more than 3,000%, which in turn has severely slowed the global economy.
Wait, what?
More than 3,000. With shipping restricted to ground and air, transport costs have ballooned by...
Ground and air. I mean, yeah, technically this is newer, but there is research into going back to helium balloons and hydrogen balloons to do large-scale shipping because it's actually very economical. If you have a large enough balloon, that's where the problem lies, because that much helium, that much hydrogen is massive. But you can start carrying absolutely absurd loads. You can float really high above most storms, and you can do some pretty decent movement. It's slow, but it can carry a lot. The problem is building it and getting enough of any of those elements, because it's bullshit IRL. It's like absolutely legitimately stockpiles from entire countries might be emptied to make one. I'm not sure if America's stockpile would be, because I have no idea how big it is, but I think some countries probably would just be like, we're done. Because apparently there is actually a shortage of helium.
By more than 3,000%, which in turn has severely slowed the global economy. The governments of the world must step up to the task of opening our oceans for business once more. Call your representative today.
There's actually...
Yeah, but if they did that, then they'd have to, pay money. Where if they just wait for someone to do it themselves, sure, they'll fix it themselves.
A lot more to that story. We covered it.
Also, David used anti-grav in the show. Oh yeah, and the ships use them. Not the ships, like the actual various medevacs use it as well in the beginning of the game. So it's not exactly an unknown thing.
In this video, it might be a lot worse than what he's saying. It's not good. It's not good. Let's say the private island thing isn't really your speed. You're looking for something different.
I wonder if that's why they have the pylons outside of the city in the water. Literally anti-AI murder bots. Huh. Also, yes, sir. Hydrogen is a bad idea because of the Hindenburg. This is somewhat of a conspiracy theory, but also it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. The Hindenburg looks like a tragedy, but it only went up after everyone got off. Went up really fast from the tail, and the tail had a square that looked really similar to a Buddhist symbol, but turned flat instead of crooked. If you know the one and then realize this is right before the start of World War II, and a certain Austrian painter was trying to broadcast his Reich's power, I'm just throwing it out there. Accident. Yeah.
How about Alaska? Remember, Antarctica thawed quite a bit, so maybe Alaska is more hospitable now as well.
Reports of hardship have emerged from Alaska. According to the Incorporated Press, corn harvests have dropped by 80% from last year's.
Because of the desertification, they're probably warm enough to support it, but also permafrost. I mean, this is probably not what they're bringing in, but permafrost melting right now is destroying parts of Alaska. Stable ground stop being stable. Not to mention all of the release of gases and old bacteria that now can reinfect people. Not bacteria, sorry, viruses. It's nasty. And then there's the Siberian traps, man. Oh god, the stuff there.
Yields the result of catastrophically heavy rains and floods plaguing the region. Local authorities are under obligation to provide nearly 80 million bushels of their crop to Biotechnica,
because of course Biotechnica is the one fucking around with crops. Of course they are. Yeah, because they want to save the world, but we can't make anyone else do it, so we have to make sure no one else can do it. Because then we might get them in the way of us saving the world. Like I said, they're not the good guys. They're the best. They're just not good. Because the bar is so goddamn low. Also, Bill, you mentioned paranoid about the AI that produces infinite sea mines. I misread that for a second. The one Arasaka released to defend. They didn't specify what to defend, just it got out because of a bug. Or bugged out. Yeah, I've heard about that one. Oh, yeah. Also, Purple, you mentioned Hindenburg only happened because it was a blimp designed for helium, and it was used as hydrogen. Abnormal blimps meant for hydrogen are safer. Yeah, and generally, you can even induct a lot of them. Also, March, don't need. Oh, no. That's the thing. It's not making Nazis more evil. The Hindenburg was explicitly a power play by the Reich to show off their stuff. Like, if you look at pictures of it, it has the swastika because it was a official German airship that was docking in America at the start, right before hostilities started, and was about to leave to return to Europe. I'm just saying, people didn't like him already. Yeah, so while everyone says, whoa, the humanity, just remember, it was a Nazi ship and everyone already got off. And it started burning from the tail.
Engineers behind
Actually, I'm not sure about the tail part. I just remember hearing them. I'm not sure that part's accurate.
the Frostcorn hybrid species. The city of Juneau now faces a difficult choice of whether to honor the agreement, causing severe shortages in Alaska, or break the contract and forego next year's seed corn delivery from Biotechnica.
Now, you might be asking yourself, why don't you just replant the corn? This is actually something IRL farmers have to deal with. It's not Cyberpunk exclusive. The companies who provide the corn think it's the best yield that people are willing to buy because consumers are used to this type of corn. If they don't get exactly this type of corn, they're going to be very upset. For a lot of plants, that's because you are literally under contract, not allowed to do that. You can only plant what they sell you. You cannot harvest your own product. You cannot plant your own product. You cannot grow your own plants. You have to literally plant and then grow only the seeds they give you, and anything else is copyright infringement, and they will sue you into oblivion and destroy you utterly because their entire business model is selling you your own plants. This is not part of Cyberpunk. This is IRL. I'm glad we had this talk.
Whether you believe Alaskans deserve humanitarian aid or perhaps a lesson in self-reliance, cast your vote at the address below.
Juneau is stuck in a situation where they have to give up a large percentage of their crop, inducing a pretty bad famine, or keep all of that, not have a famine this year, but next year potentially have a really bad famine.
And by really bad famine, they probably mean Biotechnica, well, never selling to them again, make sure they never get it. And if they try and grow anything, being targeted by mercs who are hired.
They get no crop. Notice how Airier Slimeball helped remove Biotechnica from having responsibility in the situation at the end. He doesn't ask whether or not they should be leveraging a city with the threat of famine. He's asking if a third party should provide humanitarian aid. It just goes to show that depending on the desired narrative, they can put all of the focus on the corporation or almost completely take it away. Instead of starving in Alaska, you could go to nearby Siberia and become a mole man. Or mole woman.
The Lunarinskaya uranium mine collapse that occurred just outside Novosibirsk in southern Siberia has concluded with a happy ending. As you recall, 35 miners became trapped deep underground following a high-magnitude earthquake. But thanks to their Suez Lake 2 hibernation implants, the miners were able to survive without access to food and fresh water for 2 weeks. Fortunately, after their rescue and following a brief rest for technical evaluation, the miners were able to immediately return to work.
Get trapped in a cave-in, hibernate for 2 weeks, go back to the work where you just had a cave-in. This is sadly pretty accurate. Not the hibernation part, but just immediately going back to work in a mine that had a cave-in.
Soviet Union always doing right by their workers 2 whole
Honestly, I was thinking about some of the places in West Virginia I know about.
weeks of rest in a row and a free technical evaluation. I mean, does it get much better than that? I don't know. Let's go check out China.
China has become the first country in the world to formally ban the use of human-controlled road vehicles. From now on, Chinese citizens can use only autonomous vehicles, approved by government regulators.
On the one hand, especially with the AIs taking over. On the other hand, considering how I drive when I'm actually in control of vehicles in Night City, maybe they have a point.
State-validated self-driving vehicles will be limited to pre-authorized routes, such as a person's commute to and from work. The Chinese government has given citizens a week to report all manually operated vehicles still in use and to
Yeah, so in other words, you live as a drone, you go exactly where we tell you, and you can't go anywhere else unless you're allowed. It's very much heavy-handed control.
permit all bicycles for installation with state-issued GPS tracers.
China leading the way in surveillance. You could call them a surveillance state. I'm not going to, but you could. All right.
That would be way too on the accuracy there. Ooh, also, Duck, I'm going to pull up your comment. Loading slowly. Okay, here we go. I think you said you want a spaceship model, so 90s shareware games had cool spaceships by Sublight Drivecraft, or there's no kit of this Star Wars ship, so I did it myself by the same guy. Yeah, sure. One sec. I'll put up a poll to see what people want, because that sounds awesome either way. And they're both too long. That works. Okay, that's up for a poll now. Thank you. Also, did I miss any? Okay, we should be good. Oh, auditors, yeah.
Right, I'll admit it, bold take, places on Earth, not doing too great, but you have options. You can always go
die in a ditch. And for a lot of places in this world, that might be the safer option.
To Mars.
Militech has announced plans to establish a new colony on the Red Planet. The proposed base will be subdivided into 3 areas: industrial, scientific, and residential. 10 residential modules are already available for purchase.
It'll only cost everything you have. Also, I looked into what it would actually take to build on Mars, and you're basically trying to build a hobbit hole underground, because anything else is just infeasible because of micro meteors or just dust storms tearing it apart by sandblasting any construction. Yeah.
Starting rate of 100 million euro dollars. A hefty price, yes. But can you truly put a price on your security?
There's a
Oh, I mean, you're probably going to die horribly as well, but that's every place in Cyberpunk.
whole lot more going on in space than just the Mars colony. You have cities on the moon, giant space stations, different factions vying for control. They basically took all of Earth's problems, strapped them to a rocket, and sent them into orbit. It's great.
Oddly enough, that does actually go into the, I don't think canon anymore, successor game line to Cyberpunk, which was set in a far future where they did achieve space travel and everyone looked down on corporations because they had destroyed the world. And instead they became hyper-totalitarian, fascist, controlling eco-terrorists as the leaders of the government, who were very much pulling the party line of, you cannot harm plants. It's literally the exact same thing as Cyberpunk, but with different window dressing, which I think was the point. Because it's just showing same problem, just a different way to get to it. Also, I'm going to pull up these comments. So, Sturk1, thank you very much. I'd like to recommend Satire versus Fatalism. Oh, sure, I'll add that in. And Martin, let's wrap this goal up if we can count all the super chats. This is the last one, so let the poll begin. We have a previous poll I'm doing right now. Which game line is that? I don't remember. That is actually a problem. But yeah, no, they did actually have an entire game line. It was only a pen and paper version. And it was out before Cyberpunk Red came out. It's an old one for them. I do not remember what it was called. It was also not really the best thought out. It looked cool, but it had issues. And also it's literally just rehashing the setting, but in the future with cyber mechs. Because you didn't actually have cyber implants anymore. You had mech suits. Which was, okay, that was cool, but yeah. And Dex, if only all the problems went to the moon and none of them stayed on Earth. I mean, they did. New problems came up. And then they kept coming, and they kept on coming, and they kept on coming, and they kept on coming. Yeah. Oh, one sec, Sturg. I'll just add that to the list. We'll be putting up a poll on what to do next, so we'll do that then. Satire versus Fatalism.
Imagine you are...
Not going to watch that one yet, but I will check it out.
It's great. Everything's great.
In a daring orbital heist, millions of Eurodollars worth of goods were stolen from Galileo.
Oh.
The thieves docked with the station during a solar storm, which temporarily blinded radar systems, then breached the hull of an orbital air laboratory. The space pirates, as some have dubbed them, made away with several experimental prototypes. Their current heading is unknown, but the ESA has offered a generous reward for any assistance in apprehending the suspect.
Can we all admit, if there was a sequel that was just pirates in space, that would be so stupid, and I love it. Depends how they make space. If they make it feel empty and boring, I'm looking at you, Starfield, it fails. If they do anything else, it's good.
Remember earlier we were in Europe, it was a good time, pool party and all that. Nearby Turkey is also having some fun.
The people of Turkey are bracing themselves for a radioactive sandstorm yet again this year.
Again?
Meteorologists expect southern winds to carry several dozen tons of irradiated dust from the former states of Syria, Iraq, and Iran. The fallout from these territories, devastated during the so-called suicide war, remain the primary source of radiation that falls onto Europe and the eastern Mediterranean.
We start the clip with the reveal that Turkey is getting hit by a radioactive sandstorm.
Again, don't forget the again part.
But the most interesting thing here is that the Middle East has largely been destroyed in nuclear war. This is part of the reason you'll find gas stations selling Chew-2 instead of gas-oline.
The last active photovoltaic solar farms have been decommissioned in Nevada and Utah. Solar power generation, once seen as the future of clean energy in America, has suffered significant setbacks in today's more extreme climate. The layer
Because sand destroys them because they keep getting buried. Oddly enough, there is a solar farm in Cyberpunk. It's one of the places you go to. So, yeah.
of dust suspended in our atmosphere, a result of the Himalayan wars, has limited the amount of solar radiation reaching the Earth's surface. More importantly, the
Wait, really? That's the reason? I thought it would just be passive sand falling like a dust bowl, but actually dust in the atmosphere. See, here's the part that's kind of weird. A lot of the problems in Cyberpunk, when they describe it, are desertification. Literal things becoming impossibly hot and hostile and dead because they're baking away in environments they're not able to adapt to in time. But if you had that much dust in the atmosphere to the point where solar panels didn't work, that wouldn't have a desertification effect. It would have an ice age effect. Oh, this is bullshit. That's why. It's bullshit. There's probably some corporate interest who just doesn't want to do that. And they're just pulling because we said so money in here. Oh, okay, that would do it.
increasing regularity of hurricanes and sandstorms caused frequent and costly damage to most solar farms. Unsurprisingly, wind power has fared just as poorly. The number of active turbines has plummeted by 63% over the last 15 years alone. It appears Chew-2 will remain the uncontested leader in the energy sector for the foreseeable
There we go.
future.
It doesn't stop there, though. Famous cities all over the world have been severely altered. There's some real interesting cases here.
For the second consecutive week, the landfill inferno in the remnants of Atlantic City continues to rage on. The
How do we tell the difference?
10,000-acre dumping ground ranks among the world's largest and contains both toxic and biological waste. Already,
I stand by my statement.
7 firefighters combating the blaze have died, and another 40
Sorry, only 7. I mean, this is Cyberpunk where less than double digits is considered weird for any amount of death toll, especially if you're playing.
have suffered from severe burns and toxin exposure.
Notice how she didn't say the landfill in Atlantic City. She said in the remnants of Atlantic City. Atlantic City was something of the East Coast's answer to Las Vegas.
Wait, that's what it was supposed to be? Oh. Oh, I had a different reputation from that. Huh.
Well, it was an attempt at that anyway. Didn't really work out, but
Oh, that's why then.
it isn't quite this bad. Don't get me wrong, people will call it a dump, and it is. But, yeah. Anyway, Detroit is doing good.
A story of optimism emerges from Detroit. The Motor City, formerly infamous for a century of economic decline and squalor, has at last reached its new golden age. As good fortune would have it, the city's numerous landfills, abandoned buildings, and industrial zones are rich in rare resources, now highly valued in today's economy.
Yeah. That'd do it. And then there's Sturg just saying in the chat right before this came up, I'd say just like Detroit, but if I'm right, Detroit is actually thriving in Cyberpunk's world. And yeah, it literally just came up. And the thing is, reclamation from dumps like this is actually a thing that happens right now. I don't know if it's actually increased more due to the everything shortage due to the AI bubble. But if I find out that's the case, I am not going to be surprised in the slightest.
thousands of migrants have caught junk fever and set their sights on the city in the search of electronics manufactured around the turn of the century. Undeterred by hazardous conditions and gang violence, these pioneers truly demonstrate the beauty of the American entrepreneurial spirit.
This generation's
I hate how that part is actually completely accurate, because it's literally the gold rush, but for junk. But also, that would be a really cool game in its own right.
California Gold Rush, the Detroit Junk Rush. At this point, you should just stay in Night City, maybe go to college to get more knowledge.
Arasaka Corp has signed a cooperation agreement with Night City University. Professors and students now have the option to acquire an Arasaka Ozokumi SX cognitive implant on loan at a 20% discounted rate. Sources tell us installation of the implant will become a requirement for all faculty and enrolled students before long.
Maybe not. Who are they trying to fool? Kids aren't going to college
And they're not even going to college. It's more, they're literally being given knowledge. They can know everything immediately. But if for any reason they stop paying for it, they lose all of it. They're not actually learning anything. They're just having it installed. Because now you're paying them to remember how to do your job.
Night City. They're too busy watching their favorite streamer, Death_Penalty.
The long-awaited execution of Joaquin Schmidt, better known as the Watson Butcher, is scheduled to take place tomorrow. The 27-year-old confessed to the murder of 21 people, including his own sister and mother.
Okay, 1, 2. For Night City, those are kind of slow little numbers.
Execution will be open to the public, and for those who prefer to watch from home, it will be live streamed at the address you see at the bottom of your screen. This event's organizer, Capital Corrections Incorporated, promises a compelling spectacle as well as attractive prizes for a few lucky viewers.
People aren't watching these streams.
I think that's morbid in the extreme and fucked up. But it's also incredibly historically accurate that executions were a fun time for the family. It's why they happen in the town square in a lot of places. Both because it established the power of the insert random person in charge here or group in charge here, and it was something you could do and see that you normally wouldn't, so it was unique and surprising and shocking. Also, Martin, V and Morgan Blackhand are outliers. Yeah, and they're not even the ones with the highest body count. Adam Smasher still has a higher one, depending on how you play V.
Through monitors or phone screens, they're using brain dance rigs like this one, giving them a much more visceral experience for each event. We actually hear this directly referenced in this broadcast, where Airier calls this particular setup a domestic feeder unit.
After botulism, the next bug Night City will catch is Lizzie Wizzy Fever, as she announces her upcoming concert series. The world-renowned singer and artist is due to visit Night City soon.
Oh yeah, you can do a quest where you actually meet her in-game. I never got that far, but I do know about it.
Tickets will only be available for purchase to those with a credit rating above 700. For all of Lizzie Wizzy's other fans, the concert will be available to view through domestic feeder units.
They only want the social elites there in person, and the rest of us peasants can still give them our attention, time, and money, but
I mean, considering you actually could see it from other places, that's kind of surprising.
from a far enough distance away so they don't actually have to look at us.
Oh yeah,
Going
there
off
she is.
recent events at an N-cart station, you're probably better off just staying home anyway.
An N-cart station is stunned by a bloody massacre. The unidentified assailant opened fire on passengers waiting for the train on Platform 2 at Med Center. 10 people are confirmed dead and 16 injured. We advise Night citizens to thoroughly consider all transport options to find the safest solution.
What the?
Yeah, I'm not even surprised. If anything, I'm surprised we've heard less of random acts of mass violence. That seems like the thing in Night City.
Hell does his bit of advice at the end there even mean? Thoroughly consider all transport option? What does that mean?
They're probably trying to advertise the DeLoreans, or not the DeLorean, like the really fancy AI cabs, because they are the safest thing you can find. Also, they're having a fork run it of an AI that's explicitly one of the Bartmos mind clone. Oh yeah, Bartmos. I remember his name now. Nice. Yeah. Also, spoilers. It's run by a Bartmos mind clone that was set up to destroy everything as a fuck you to the rod from God that they killed him with. Maybe, considering you may or may not find his body in the desert.
Mean? Did he just tell
me
you
that's
to
the one.
think about it? In like a long-winded way, just think about it. Oh, okay, thought about it. They're all fun. We can't actually find this platform here near the med center. You're not normally able to access this area, but we got our special access. This is where that shooting would have taken place. Oddly enough, there's a couple of police officers up here, maybe doing some investigation. Probably not. Thing is,
Maybe something that they meant to add into the game, just never got around to. I will give the police some credit in this game from one of the early events you play through. A lot of them do actually want to do their job and then find out really fast. We don't do that here.
this isn't even the worst shooting in the news.
A cyber psycho attack shocks Wellsprings. Lester McKenzie, age 28, opened fire at the River Mall shopping center. The shooting lasted 10 minutes before the assailant was killed, shortly after MaxTac forces arrived. 35 people were pronounced dead at the scene and another 20 remain in critical condition. The Implant Manufacturers Association has issued a statement in response to the incident, stating, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers go to the victims and their families. We at the IMA extend our sincerest condolences in the..."
And I'm assuming the next part is, and to make sure you're protected, make sure to buy our products so you too will never have to suffer this. It seems like this is where this is going.
Wake of this unavoidable tragedy, end quote. River Mall administration has announced plans to reopen within the hour. They have offered a 50% discount at participating stores to the families of the victims.
It's somehow more and less morbid than I thought.
Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. We extend our thoughts and prayers.
That's honestly more than a lot of corporations or any group in Night City would do, or this entire freaking world of Cyberpunk. Because a lot of them, they're like, you die because you didn't buy our product as well. And unironically, that would be the argument they would make.
We've all heard that one quite a bit, haven't we? Unfortunately, thoughts and prayers. I haven't heard thoughts and prayers with a 50% discount, though. That's
Give it time.
the new one. The business running the place uses the term unavoidable tragedy. They want you to think this could have happened anywhere. It's not the business, it's not the location that's dangerous. This was unavoidable, like a...
You know, I know he's making the point right now that it's completely avoidable, but this is Night City. This is Cyberpunk. They might have a point in this instance because this is a city, this is a world that runs on horror and just fuck you energy. It might actually be unavoidable. It's going to happen somewhere. It just happened to be there this time. Unless, you know, the guy was fucked over by these people and just taking it out on them because postal. If you get that reference, that's an old one and really dark.
force of nature. There's nothing that could have been done about it. So please don't use this as a reason not to come here. Then you have the line about the mall reopening within the hour.
Yeah,
this
that
is
part's
sort of
fucked up.
two-sided in my mind. On one side, it's like, yeah, the mall is giving you a 50% discount. Come on back. They want to keep the business flowing. But then there's also an underlying bit of social commentary in that line, talking about how a mass shooting just happened, but we're moving on. We got other things to get to. Are we going to do anything about it? Probably not.
I mean, it's basically Cyberpunk in a nutshell. Shit's fucked. We're not going to do anything about it.
On to the next thing. Whatever. This next story ties in and wraps up the last two stories perfectly and shows you exactly what's going on here.
The 27th annual conference of the Implant Manufacturers Association recently came to a close. One of the hottest topics discussed was the ever-increasing rate of cyber psycho attacks. Over the last decade, the number of incidents has increased as much as 43%. Lamar Kalinsky, association chairman, emphasized that it isn't the implants who kill people, but the individuals themselves who misuse their products.
Oh, this is a loaded topic. Oh, wow. Because in universe, there's like the score of what you're allowed to play in the game, of how much you can install, and there's that limit. But that's not actually how it works. There's I'm not making this up somehow, direct mind influencing and sometimes flat out control element from various cybernetic implants. Sometimes like, well, they change how your body interprets things. So if you get an implant that makes it easier to shoot things really easily, you're going to want to shoot things really easily because it's interfacing with your mind that way. Other times it's explicitly, yeah, no, this is literally basically magic making you a monster and loving it. How far they go really depends on when it's being written, I think the current one is leaning more towards the giving you the option to do horrible things makes the option more possible, which is actually something you see just by playing the game, because as you progress the game, there are still available options to go stealthy and talk your way out of most endings. Like, that's something you can do in almost all of the side stories. Most people never find them because by the time you're late game, you could easily and quicker just run through the game as a massive cyber psycho build, or the all you can shoot headshot machines that just have utterly broken stats that are easier to play and faster. Yeah. So is it your fault because you have the tools, or is it the tools fucking with your mind? It really does depend on who's writing it, because it has gone both ways.
Fair point, Mr. Kalimsky.
Uh-oh, that's gonna ruffle some feathers. Yeah, that's definitely a metaphor for mass shootings and guns, especially relating to American culture. People often say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Well,
and people with guns kill even more.
This cyberware manufacturer is saying, cyberware doesn't kill people, people kill people. You think he might be a little biased, maybe? Maybe just a little teensy-weensy bit biased. And then a Reef Lickball comes at the end like, yes, girl, true, so true, good point. Oh, what was that? Immediate contradiction inbound.
More and more patients have been filing into hospitals throughout Night City, with injuries caused by malfunctions in illegally purchased cyberware.
Illegally? They just didn't pay the full amount, huh? Or was it just revoked?
Authenticated implants have caused several fatal short circuits already. The NCPD urges all cyberware users to buy only from licensed manufacturers.
And if that manufacturer was previously licensed, but they didn't pay their licensing fee, now you haven't paid it either.
Worth the investment.
Oh, okay, so it's not cyberware that kills people, it's illegal. It's the illegal cyberware that kills people. Yeah. Shut up, it's different. It's definitely different. You gotta buy the real thing. If you buy the wrong thing, it'll kill you. Don't go.
Also, this is gonna just be me. Does anyone else just really not like using the strings in game? Maybe that's just me, but I just really didn't. Also, Stark, cyberpsychosis is a catch-all for mental conditioning of people with above average cyberware. Yep. Although some of it is also possibly literally them being body jacked, which I don't think is every time, but a few of them had a few tells. And then there was the weird rituals that was co-opting the some of the cyber psychos. And yeah, AI magic bullshit. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, like, literally, it's AI magic. Because technically, the web isn't what we think of the web right now. The web here is closer to what it is in World of Darkness. It's kind of magical.
Thinking too much. When people kill people using our cyberware, it was them.
Monowire,
and when people die wearing cyberware, it was someone else's cyberware. It's very simple. If you're trying to hold a large company accountable, you're barking up the wrong tree.
The NCPD has urged caution when using data terms. A routine inspection has shown many have been corrupted with malware. Police experts have confirmed the identified virus can lead to cyberware failure and, in extreme cases, even death.
Data terms in 2077 are fast travel locations, but they're supposed to be a good bit more than that. These are public databases for information if you need to find something out, like your local NCART station is.
Just to give an idea, in case anyone didn't remember, the reason that they have super high tech and all this crazy stuff, but very limited internet that you can only get through very specific hard locations, is because the full internet still exists and it's infested with the Bartmos AI destroyer clone or mental clones and all the other rogue AIs that are out there that will try and wear your skin like a meat suit that they then try and jump through walls with. And some might even succeed, depending on the level of cybernization there. Yeah.
Closed and you need an alternative, this is where you would go. So the fact that they're killing people is really bad. It's like getting killed by a phone book.
Probably has happened that way too. Also, Bill, I'm going to pull up your comment because it's explicitly relevant. Melissa Rory, for anyone wondering who he's talking about, in the opening trailer for the game, there's a lady in a dress with her arms down and mantis blades out of her arms, surrounded by dead bodies, where the Max Tech is coming around her. That's Melissa Rory. You also meet her in the game the first time you meet Max Tech because she's one of their later operatives. Yeah, that's a thing. She had mantis blades that were previously recalled for prodding the parts of the brain they aren't supposed to. Yep. One of the other options that is very well known is Johnny's Silverhand. The silver hand, make it so he like almost desensitizes to immediately aiming in. It gave him really good aim. So he could get a lot of headshots without aiming. It's why when you play through him, he had really good shooting of the head abilities in-game. But functionally, the lore reason is it kind of changed how his mind worked when he got replaced. So he started becoming a little more, well, honestly, a cyberpsycho is probably the best way to put it, but like manageable to enough where no one would call him that yet. Also, Sturg, yeah, Max Tech recruits cyberpsychos? Yep, and apparently there are some who aren't cyberpsychos who joined. I don't know how many, but the fact that that's even a possibility is terrifying in its own right. Because how fucked up are you that you look at the, oh god, it's all cyberpsychos and think, I fit in. Yeah, which is crazier? The cyberpsycho or the normal person who thinks that's perfectly normal? Also, you can get Rory's mental play if you kill her. I did not kill her, so I did not know that. Oh, more you know.
In response to increased gang activity, the mayor's office has raised the public threat level to red. Residents of Arroyo and Watson are advised not to leave their homes after dark and always ensure easy access to protective firearms. Schools and hospitals have been closed until further notice.
They closed the school and the hospital, left the coffee shop and the mall open. I feel like schools are going to keep at least some of the kids out of gang violence, and the hospitals are where people affected by the gang violence need to go. Why are we closing those places?
Are they public?
At the end of eastbound traffic jams on the I-9, long-awaited repairs to Ring Road East may begin as early as next month. Estimates put investment into this major artery at close to 20 million euro dollars, with priority being placed.
Aren't roads even more expensive than that usually? I have no idea how much a road costs.
On efficiency and anti-nomad barriers.
This seems like a simple story, and it is.
Anti-nomad barriers. Granted, I mean, even though nomads are the least of the fucked up options to start your character with, they're just pirates, essentially. They're just road pirates. That's all they really are.
But it grounds the world into something that would be important to people in everyday life. You need road networks in cities. It's important to them, and having a functioning ring road that takes you to the different sections of the city efficiently is very relevant for your average person. A ring road, sometimes it's called something else, maybe a beltway, is a highway that loops around a city. It just makes it easier to get to different parts of the city if you're further away. You don't have to drive through all of the traffic lights and stop signs, local traffic, things like that. You just hop on the beltway. It's a lot more efficient.
I lived in Pittsburgh. Not all cities get that correct. There's some ring roads around it that are far outside the city, and then you get to the ones in the city. It's like, it looks like not moving o'clock. I'm honestly surprised no one has ever just decided to go into the traffic jam with a coffee craft, like a giant one that they can wheel behind them and just sell car to car, because they're moving faster than the vehicles at that point. Also, Sturk, not even all nomads, they're just the cowboys with the cows. Wait, you live in the pit? I did for a long time. Grew up there. Used to work in a museum.
What if you want to leave the city, though? What's going on with those roads?
Violence continues to plague the Badlands. Shootings have been reported along the 166, and 101.
Which means it's safer than being in the city.
Witness accounts point to inter-clan disputes. Attacks on unaffiliated persons has not exceeded the average. However, in an abundance of caution, the NCPD has raised the threat level to 2, advising travelers to avoid side roads.
Not even red.
We'll continue to keep you informed as the situation develops.
You'll start to notice a trend here, the demonization of nomads. Now, of course, nomads can be dangerous and they do fight, but there's a particular angle these news broadcasts take with them. For example, after the bomb was dropped in Night City as a result of the conflict between Arasaka and Militech, nomads came in and played a crucial role in rebuilding and providing structure during a time of need.
Really? I thought that was mostly just kind of a no man's land where no one provided structure. Also, the funny part is a lot of the nomads, they look down on the people who would then work with the corpos, except a lot of the nomad clans also do work for corpos. They have in the past, sometimes have long-term contracts, and then there's some that are just like, yeah, we don't work for them. They just occasionally pay us. Yeah, it's just a little bit of hypocrisy.
Is it altruistic? No, that's not what I'm saying. They weren't doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. They had incentives. But this is all conveniently left out after corporations have come back in and taken over the city. Nomad.
I mean, it's also not pointing out the fact that Arasaka was run out of Night City for years after that bomb went off. It doesn't come up in game because you're kind of just left to believe that it blew up and then they got stronger. What actually happened is Johnny Silverhand won temporarily. He got rid of Arasaka. They were gone. It just doesn't come up in this. And by the time Edge Runners came out, they were already back. I mentioned it before, but that was due to other things with the president of the states or the free states or whatever. Not the free states, like the NC. No, NC's a Fallout. But the basically completely not a puppet of Militech, because she might be running Militech. The former director of Militech becoming the leader of the country and maybe making place to get Night City, and then Arasaka came back in as the saviors. Yeah, a lot of that happened. But technically, yeah. And sorry, Arasaka weren't run out of the entire continent? No, but they were run out of Night City. It just didn't stick because other things happened.
And megacorps will always end at odds because nomads entirely reject the society that megacorps have built. If everyone lived like nomads, then the megacorporations wouldn't really have any power. So you best believe.
I disagree on that one, just because a lot of the nomads clans, even though they say they don't want that, there are explicitly nomad clans working for our Biotechnica, for example. They're working in some of the middle of America states. I think it's Indianapolis, Indiana, or was it? It was somewhere right around there, or maybe further up into Wisconsin. I don't remember where, but they explicitly had contracts with them.
The megacorp news stations will take any chance they can get to portray nomads as nothing more than crazed psychopaths and lunatics.
Numerous nomad caravans have appeared near city limits in Norfolk and Charter Hill. Some reports suggest some of the violent vagrants may have entered Night City despite the NCPD's best efforts. If you spot a nomad...
Best efforts. Nice. That's funny.
Remember that you have the right to self-defense. With such dangerous criminals, warning shots alone are not considered an effective deterrent.
Again, notice the incredibly subtle, not so subtle messaging there at the end. Warning shots are not considered an effective deterrent. What he's essentially telling people to do is if you see a nomad, shoot on sight.
As opposed to most things in Night City, where you should probably do the same thing regardless. Yeah. Also, Martin pointed out they just work for whoever pays. They are mercenaries. Yep. But there is a very big stigma, specifically for taking a contract explicitly working for a corporation, not just a job. And when I'm talking about working for them, I'm specifically talking about a long-term employment contract for a clan. I don't remember which one, but I think it's actually one related to the clan Johnny Silverhand temporarily ran in. Don't remember too much of the details because it's been over a year since I specifically looked that one up. Ooh, also, Andre, thank you for the gift of membership, man.
He's not saying seek help, call the police, go to a safe place. He's effectively trying to militarize the armed...
Yep. Also, Bill, this is a comment that I do want to pull up because it's completely relevant. Notice how they lump the nomads in with the Raffins. Nomads who were kicked out of the clans for being too horrible, like Night Lord's horrible. Yep. Which is just hilarious because the only people who don't really like them, I think, is Arasaka, because everyone else uses them more. And also note who's saying the worst things about them. Yeah.
Populace of Night City to just shoot at the corporate enemy. I love you have the...
Also, you could just see the solar panels. They just have those around.
Right to self-defense, murder people. Here's another broadcast where they're eager to point the finger at the nomads.
We return to today's breaking story of an attack on a Santo Domingo power station. The assailants, who remain unidentified, broke into the station and severely damaged the cooling system, which led to a sharp spike in EMP emissions. In the immediate...
Is that the one that we... No, it was something else, not Santo Domingo. Also, EMP emissions? Really? Okay, sure. Ooh, also, Andre, thank you for another gifted membership, man.
In the aftermath of the attack, many residents nearest to the power station suffered critical implant failures.
Yeah,
so powerful
cyber.
with the EMP, the entire city was plunged into darkness for several hours. Reports from the NCPD suggest nomad outlaws are likely to blame and are currently weighing plans for retaliation.
He says the assailants remain unidentified, so they don't know who they are, and without any evidence, they point the finger at the nomads. Yes, Pan Am is involved, but V isn't necessarily a nomad, and really, this situation doesn't...
So it was the one that we took part in, okay. And they were already blaming the nomads when they found everything else.
...have to do with a...
Andre, you have your own reasons? Wait, are you trying to... Oh, you're trying to hit the membership goal. We might actually have to double check that one. Oh, no.
nomad clan. Here's a slightly adjusted version of the report if V had a high-tech skill and caused less damage in the process.
Fortunately, most nearby populated areas avoided exposure to the EMP. Considering the scale of the damage, human casualties were held at a minimum. Reports from the NCPD suggest nomad outlaws are likely to blame and are currently weighing plans for retaliation.
Still
blaming them, but only weighing them as opposed to anything else. I mean, we were working with the nomads, so it's still wrong, but less horrible.
The nomads.
A raid on an organic meat trafficking ring and a malaria outbreak in the Glen. But
organic meat trafficking. I'm not sure if they're stealing the meat to traffic it, or they're talking about human. I mean, they cut a lot of stuff out when they have to put the cyber in. Yeah. Also, Sturgy mentions more NUSA Militech that dislike nomads. Really? And Andre, 5 gifted memberships. God damn, man. You know, I will actually have to double check if we made a membership goal soon. Shit. Biotechnica doesn't like them, which is weird because I thought they were the ones who explicitly hired them. Although I could be mistaken about that.
first, we turn to a mysterious connectivity failure in Pacifica. Most of the district was cut off from the world for several hours, as residents could not connect to the net, local subnets, or comm systems. The NCPD has urged calm, claiming the outage was a result of standard maintenance work.
In this instance, it seems they're lying about V's escapades to the Black Wall with the Voodoo Boys, trying to say, you know, nothing actually happened, don't worry, we have everything under control. Speaking of Pacifica, there are some future plans for the abandoned district. Take a listen.
What's next for Pacifica? The district, formerly designed as an oasis of luxury, has become a den for violent gangs and drug addicts. Kang Tao recently expressed interest in the purchase of Pacifica property, with the aim of constructing a new server and
Kang Tao. I don't know why, but I'm pulling a massive blank on what that one is. Also, yep, Subathon's going strong on this one. Oh, it's the 10-hour iceberg video. That's what we hit at. Oh, no.
Logistics center. The city government has openly considered selling the land for a single $1 in a symbolic gesture, provided that...
Andre, another 5 gifted memberships. Holy shit, man. I think I'm actually going to have to double check if we've made it to that point for the 10-hour iceberg video.
Kang Tao demonstrates commitment to eradicating the district's criminal presence.
These kind of broadcasts are some of my favorite because they just show that this world is going to change and move. You know, by the sounds of that report, there's nothing good in the future for the people living in Pacifica, whether they're in a gang or not. It also indicates that China's Kang Tao is a growing player in the corporate ecosystem. Arasaka...
That's probably why Arasaka doesn't like them, right?
...is the only corporation that has an entire district to themselves in Arasaka waterfront. But if Kang Tao got all of Pacifica, that would really shake things up. What's the NCPD doing during all this?
Nothing.
In other news, the NCPD welcomes a boost to its authority. As of today, the police may detain criminal suspects for up to 1 year without formal prosecution.
So, how's that different?
The NCPD scored another victory with the adoption of a policy allowing the shooting of a limb to be considered a warning shot, a change.
Well, that should sound shocking. 10 years ago, that might have been shocking. Oh God, how old is this game? Yeah, it might have been shocking when that came out.
That should keep officers safer.
This broadcast made me wonder if suspects can be detained for up to a year. Is there a prison in Night City? And
also, I'd like to point out, their previous idea of a warning shot was, they don't work, just kill. So, technically, the police are still put at a disadvantage when everyone else is not going to let them get away with the warning shot first. Also, considering how many limbs are cybernetic, it probably wouldn't even help if they did that. Yep. Making them both somehow nightmarishly evil and also hamstrung at the same time.
Actually is. The scariest part of this is you could be a suspect, not actually have done anything, but get put in this prison where you're forced to wear a brain dance that makes you experience your death over and over again.
There's probably people who explicitly want to go to jail for this, because some of the brain dances you saw in game were explicitly this. And this is what some people wanted. Hell, Edge Runners started with David going through that immediately. Also, just me, I couldn't get into Edge Runners. It was just way too depressing. It's grimdark in a way that somehow makes 40K seem happy.
Sounds like less of a prison and more of a cyberpsycho factory. So you're stuck in this prison for over a year going insane. They let you go eventually because you didn't do anything, but now you've lost your mind. You commit some sort of cyberpsycho attack, and then you go to the Los Padres Penitentiary somewhere south of Night City,
where you're probably then recruited by a gang who is corporately owned, because then you have a bunch of enforcers who are insane and have to listen to you because otherwise they go back to jail. And suddenly you've been recruited into a corporation without realizing, but also you're not part of the corporation, so they can deniably have you attack people they don't like. Yeah. Hey, sup, Valerian?
This is max tax, super high security prison where they're capable of holding cyberpsychos.
But also costs more money for the people running the corporate prisons, so that the recruiting factory has to be more successful to justify holding people.
Such as yourself. By the sounds of it, they've been preparing for your release.
The Force has ordered 20 of the Centaur units to be used in preventative patrols and MaxTac forces.
Did we ever see those?
A ceremonial signing of the partnership took place at City Hall. Police Commissioner Coleridge and Militech Government Relations Executive Anthony Gilchrist were in attendance.
Officers
Also, I'm being told by Croc, this is average Polish storytelling style. That's funny. See, here's the thing. While it's average Polish storytelling, because the people behind The Witcher, people behind Cyberpunk are a Polish company, Cyberpunk itself started as an American who went to, I think it was either 70s or 80s north. Where was it? They were basically in the slums, I think near Niagara, specifically Niagara Falls in Canada. So a lot of the slang, a lot of the way people just mix languages, that's just because of his interactions in this area that was all over the place. I could be very wrong about the locations, though. The original writer was Mike Pondsmith. He's still alive, by the way. He does interviews. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much it is so completely different than reality. I love when things don't go like horrible, depressing ways this can go.
In the NCPD put their lives on the line for us every day. They defend all night citizens against gang violence, nomad outlaws, and cyber psycho attacks. Thanks to...
Thing is, some of the people in there, you see them actually try. And you see them horribly butchered. Like, I will give them credit. The people on the force are trying to do good. They're not. They're failing. The people at the top are all corrupt, bought out. And if they're not bought out, they're just killed for someone who can be.
Militech Centaur class exosuits, they can keep themselves safe. And all the rest of us even safer.
Here's a slightly altered broadcast where Meredith Stout gives that speech instead of Anthony Gilchrist.
Officers in the
I missed that
NCPD
part.
put their lives on the line for us every day. They defend all night citizens against gang violence, nomad outlaws, and cyber psycho attacks. Thanks to Militech's Centaur-class exosuits, they can keep themselves safe. And all the rest of us even safer. Once again, Militech has proven its vital role in the reconstruction of America.
Note, it's not the other guy saying Militech good things. So it's a small thing to point out, but it does get worth saying. I'm sorry, I forgot mind controlled. Oh, of course, the mind control. And Iron, you mentioned USSR is still a thing in Cyberpunk because the OG edition was before the fall of the Berlin Wall. So yeah. And the mind controlled by rogue AIs. That part as well. Also, Necro, the guy who wrote Neuromancer went to Canada for drugs and hippie chicks, so the slang came from weed-smoking teens. Yep. Also, I'm not sure, is the guy who wrote Neuromancer the same? No, I think Mike Pondsmith is different. They probably hung out in similar collections. Congregations? Groups? Whatever.
After the break, what quality is most important when hiring a personal bodyguard for your child?
I'm sure you noticed it was the same exact speech. The NCPD
Yeah.
will take your life, and they'll also take credit for your hard work when you're trying to help River solve the Peter Pan investigation.
Thanks to an anonymous tip, the NCPD managed to reach them in time. The rescued teens remain in critical but stable condition. Harris held the boys aged between 13 and 18 on his abandoned farm. This heinous case is just another example of Night City's continued moral collapse.
I hate everything I'm about to say. But I'm surprising that there's something that could happen that they would describe as heinous. Because at this point, everything about Night City should count as heinous. Like, there's really no not heinous parts to it, really.
Crime in Night City is now double the rate than in the new United States. At this point, it seems a near guarantee that closer ties with the Union would help to get this city's security back on the right track.
There's that N54 Noosa propaganda slipping it again. At least she doesn't blame you if the investigation goes poorly.
The NCPD did not manage to locate the abducted boys in time to save their lives. They were found on an abandoned farm, dead from dehydration and
I have not done this quest. I did not know it's one you could fail. I did not do this quest.
exhaustion. The case of Peter Pan
I also
has
haven't done
proved
many
yet
quests.
another example of Night City's moral collapse.
She was probably distracted by the even better opportunity to push Noosa's narrative. Surprisingly, WNS isn't coming back with a counter-narrative, but they do provide us with some spicy dashcam footage.
A routine roadside inspection led the NCPD to the trail of a dangerous abductor and murderer. The incident occurred at the intersection of 7th and 15th Avenue. The following police footage was captured at the scene.
1038, I repeat at 1038. Registration 2886244. We're exiting our vehicle now.
Copy that.
I'm actually kind of surprised they have cam footage like this. Huh.
Out of the car! Hands up!
Easy,
sounds
officer. Relax.
That's why it sounds odd, because there's a lot of covering effects over everyone else's voice, including the speakers for the TV. But when you're just listening to the officer right now, it sounds very different.
Shut your mouth!
Oh, shit.
We have a 1053 and a 1054. I repeat, a 1053 and a 1054.
The boy from the footage is LeVar Martinez, age 17. His parents reported his disappearance over a month ago. Unfortunately, LeVar's life could not be saved. His body...
Oh, driving around with dead bodies. Yeah, that's fucked up. Also, Bill, you mentioned, fun fact, you can gain the ability to soul kill in-game, but you need to do the bad ending of Phantom Liberty and insert the rogue AI that chases you around the hidden lab into a gun, or your own goddamn head. I did not know that because I have not played Phantom Liberty. At this point, though, I've already been spoiled to a lot of things. And Neuromancer author was William Gibson, a South Carolina with dual citizenship. Oh, okay, that does it.
Could not withstand the severe septic shock he suffered. Autopsy reports reveal the teenager was given dangerously high levels of hormones, anabolic steroids, and stimulants. The possessions and genetic
This is someone who is for the animals, wasn't it? That's a lot of what they do.
material of 7 other missing teens were also found in the car, belonging to one Anthony Harris. Unfortunately, their fates remain unknown. Although the criminal widely known as Peter Pan survived the gunshot, he has not regained consciousness, making interrogation impossible.
Am I missing something, or did they just report the news? Like, they just did it. They just reported the news. There's not...
Huh. There's probably a spin in there somewhere. The spin is no Militech broadcast.
Not really. Huh.
New
Probably
details
somewhere.
have emerged on the attempted abduction of Hanako Arasaka at the Arasaka-sponsored Dashi Parade.
Well, I haven't done this quest yet because, again, I'm really so far behind. Years, you could say. I know about this part.
Early accounts first reported that the assailants struck as the parade was in full swing. They overwhelmed and seized control of the Arasaka Heiress's parade platform. Fortunately, Arasaka's security forces, under the personal direction of Yorinobu Arasaka, quickly tracked down the abductors and secured Hanako-sama. Yorinobu-sama has since issued a public statement condemning the perpetrators' deplorable actions and promising swift retribution.
To those who raise a hand against the Arasaka family, I promise you, we will rip the hand off and pour salt in the bloody stump.
Can we just all acknowledge the irony of everything that comes out about Arasaka?
Notice how in this instance, despite a major crime occurring, we're not involving the NCPD because Arasaka doesn't want information getting leaked that could potentially hurt their company. The NCPD gets ignored and Arasaka Private Security handles the situation. They're more equipped to do so anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about a break from all the gloom and doom and the world is so bad, oh my gosh, and just hear some cool tech news.
At a press conference earlier today, scientists from Kierling University
Why do I have a feeling this is going to be absolutely disturbing?
demonstrated the extraordinary capability of a next-gen 3D printer they have dubbed Artifacts. Artifacts is capable of interpreting the user's brain activity to then produce the object they have visualized in their mind. The printer, which has been engineered in cooperation with Swiss giant More Technologies, is expected to be commercially available as early as next year.
Oh, if they ever did a third or another update that had AI craziness going on, that printer alone could do so many cool things. It's like, we've been possessing people. What happens if they can now 3D print directly everything we need? Why go the extra step when they can already do that? Yeah, who cares? Yeah, mine 3D printers. I'm sure there's a lot of really fucked up shit that could do.
Sounds cool, but it would also be incredibly dangerous. Not to be a party pooper, but you could just imagine a bomb and then have one. Not to mention,
Yeah, or like all the AIs who would just now have access to a remote 3D printing. I need a body. Give me all the guns.
this could also be a BS story and this product never actually comes to market. It's just
Honestly, it's not even the craziest thing I've heard. In fact, it'd be a lot easier for an AI to do it just because they could probably just drop the original file straight in without the need for a body to do it.
a story being used to drive up these companies' values.
Yeah.
Geez, guys, so cynical. The tech always comes with a twist.
Singhad Studios has announced a new way we, as a society, can care for our elderly. Rather than place our infirm elders in an expensive care center on the other side of town, we will soon be able to connect them to the Silver Days system. Silver Days is an advanced feeder unit adapted to the needs of our eldest relatives. The all-inclusive system consists of a catheter, aspirator, IV drip, nutrition tube, and most importantly, a next-gen brain dance wreath. Your loved ones...
You're literally plugging them into the Matrix. On the one hand, that's fucked up. On the other hand, yeah, there's some nursing homes where that would actually be counting as an improvement.
will be able to forget the worries of today and return to the simpler times of their youth, all reconstructed from your own personal family archives. Don't waste another minute. Pre-order Silver Days now to receive a 10% discount.
Sure.
I mean, also, it's literally just what most netrunners do to themselves anyways. This is one of the least fucked up things in terms of Cyberpunk. And yet it's somehow one of the most fucked up things.
Or just shove grandma in a box and turn her into a vegetable. Why not? This is one of those broadcasts where something nightmarish is pitched to the viewer.
Considering remote control bodies are something you could 3D print right now, it actually has the possibility of being one of the least fucked up things, but it's the most nightmarish, but also the least nightmarish because everything else is worst. And I do mean the worst. What probably really happens is they're not actually being brain danced, so they can at least experience something that's not the horror of elder care. Don't look it up, man. They're probably just lobotomized and just kept alive for payments from everyone else.
But it's done in a positive tone to make it sound like it's something good. Instead of spending time with their families and passing on the wisdom
That's not how a lot of elderly people go. Maybe it's other countries, it's different, but I've seen a few elder care facilities that the pods aren't the worst option if they were IRL. They're horrible, they're nightmarish, and there's places that probably should be condemned and the people running them taken to court because of the bullshit they've subjected people to that make the pods look like the safer option.
Of how the hell they survive to old age, they're just going to close themselves off in a tube, become addicted to the brain dance experience of their youth, and then completely detach before they eventually die.
Scientists from Biodyne Systems have announced a breakthrough in the fight against multiple sclerosis. MS is one of the few diseases that cannot be cured by replacing the affected tissue with implant technology. But the experts at Biodyne have created nanites that, when injected into the spinal cord, provide long-term uninterrupted repair to the neural tissue. The cost of this cutting-edge therapy treatment has been listed at €700,000 per month.
Per month? Yeah, because it's for the rich. Ugh.
You can see based on that story that the advancements in science and technology either come with a massive drawback or they cost so much that the average person, hell, the vast majority of people, will never get the benefits of them.
Hell, even the rich people don't get those benefits sometimes, man. You're basically either at the top and you're not worried about it, or you're not going to get it.
City Office of Cybernetic Technology has been formally dissolved as a result of budget cuts. The office formerly responsible for implant certification will shutter its doors next Tuesday. The administrators of implant authorization are now the manufacturers, guided by the standards they themselves have established.
Do I need to say anything? Do I really need to say anything right now? I don't think I do.
And that's the exact point. If manufacturers are dissolving third-party regulatory bodies, there's nobody there to hold them accountable. And
I mean, for a lot of third-party regulatory bodies, it's third-party. It's just deniability whenever they're wrong. It's like, well, we didn't know because this person said it was fine and we took their word. Yeah, there's a lot of those that are literally rubber stamps that are paid to rubber stamp something to look good. So I don't feel the worst about this. It's...
When you get harmed by their technologies, these news stations aren't going to cover your story. They're more likely to try and sell you a pair of sneakers you can't afford.
After the break, we take a closer look at the new sneakers from Avante that hit Night City shelves tomorrow.
Avante is a luxury brand of clothing. We can actually find their stores throughout Night City. Thing is, back in 2020, they were a weapons manufacturer, but now by 2077, they seem to have transitioned fully into clothing. Whereas
I don't know which is worse. That these seem absurdly expensive, or the luxury shoes are cheaper than the last time I had to buy a new pair. I hate this. I absolutely hate this.
Clothing. Where is all of this going, though? What is the point of the news? It's more than just propaganda. It's not as simple as state-sponsored media. There are multiple factions controlling the broadcasts. But even if they disagree about
it goes to the highest bidder, as long as the highest bidder is in line with whoever's in charge of that specific station. Because it's Militech and Arasaka and everyone else working out in between them.
About who should be in power, their messaging is clear. Your problems are destroyed cities, ecological disasters, criminals, the NCPD, nomads, homeless people. It's the downtrodden, the impoverished, the overworked and underpaid, the rejects and the outcasts.
And let me guess, the answer is trust the corporation because they're not the ones fucking you over. I said before and I'll say again, even though Johnny Silverhand as a fighter was not as powerful as he even himself believed, he was very much the poster in that regard. The guy probably was the most influential rebel in the entire setting because he got people to listen to him before he decided to go on the vengeance trip and blew up the tower. Because even though he got what he wanted and got revenge, he didn't get it forever and was temporary. But when he talked and when he sang, people listened and they acted in a way that the corporations were forced to listen to for the first time ever. And also, IRL, they recorded the music, and it's actually really damn good. One of the songs is Chippin', and I listen to all the time.
That's where your focus should be. Look at yesterday's tragedy, but don't look at who caused it. It's like worrying about broken fingers after your arm's been cut off.
Yep, Viscera. Cyberpunk, man. This is a world that somehow I absolutely love and enjoy and want to learn more about, and I find it fascinating. But it's just horrible. Like, unironically, just depressing and unrealistically dark. I just love how it's so unrelatable and not looking like a Black Mirror episode, except it's a completely clear mirror that no one is in any way, shape, or form surprised about. And it's almost like if I just turned on the news right now, I'd see some of these stories unironically being covered. It's the fiction. You gotta love that part. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that makes this awesome, though, is that you get to play in this and at least do something to fight back against every horrible thing going on. And just that fantasy alone is what I think I love the most about Cyberpunk. It's oddly one of the things I like about 40K as well, because you can be in a horrible setting, but getting the ability to do something about it is fascinating in many ways. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. This was awesome. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. The nvRanger and co did a great job, and I'd love to check out more of their stuff because I know they did more Cyberpunk, and it's going to be depressing, but it'll probably be awesome. So I'll see you guys then. Adios.